Hey guys, how's it going? Cell here, and welcome to my first Path of Exile build update video. Not really sure how I'm going to go about this, but pretty much just wanted to showcase my progress in the league so far. Been enjoying it quite a bit. I didn't really play all that much of Delirium. I went to like low 80s on one character, mid-high 80s on another character. Currently sitting at level 80 on my Bleed, Earthquake, Gladiator, and what this build is may change a bit in the future. I'll talk about that a bit more. For now, just going to run a map, showcase how it is. Apologies for the squeaking and possible clicking or keyboard noises. My mic is a little sensitive, and noise gating, or like, I don't even know the proper term for it anymore. Noise gating, general muffling of the background stuff. There's a term for it, I just don't know what it is anymore. Hasn't really worked for me, so apologies for that. Anyways, as you can tell, it's not like phenomenal clear, even though we're one-shotting everything. I'm not saying it's bad by any means, but obviously it's not like, what do people play this fast these days? I mean, summoners are pretty fast, but I think like go-to good map or bad bosser is like a trickster with chaos degen skills. I've seen people play Spellslinger, like Soul Rend, Bane type things, and those seem to work out pretty okay. Specifically, I've seen Carve play that. And I'm going to stay in Sand Stance here just to showcase that the bleed is still pretty strong when we're not getting the extra damage from the maim. Anyways, that'll be about it for that. Quick showcase of the build there and how it's doing. I know it was a 2-1 map, we're still pretty low level. I think the highest tier map I have right now is 5 somewhere in my stash, but really just getting started in the Atlas, 23 maps completed. It's currently Monday, so like day 4, I guess, technically, of the league. Haven't been playing all that much, but yeah, pretty much my thoughts of the league so far. I don't think it's as unfun as a lot of people seem to think it is, but I'm also of the opinion that the game's a little cluttered. There's some serious content bloat problems, and there's already enough junk happening in maps right now that I don't really care all that much that a league doesn't add to maps. And like, I love Delve anyways, and Delve literally had nothing to maps except a thing you could click on. Then it was just entirely separate. Anyways, so I'll do a quick showcase of the gear here. Did I get any upgrades? Nope. I didn't mention this before, but I am a solo Self-Found Harvest. Tend to play solo Self-Found since about 3.0 exclusively. I think they made it official in Legacy. And I kind of went back and forth between SSF and non-SSF until 3.0, and I've been strictly SSF since then. Anyways, quick showcase of the gear here. This axe I've had since like the mid-50s. I got it, I'm pretty sure I had it white because the crafting stuff, I just wanted to have something to alch through the craft system, essentially, because you can specifically target physical modifiers. And so I ended up with this 148 increased physical damage. That is both the pure IPD roll and the hybrid physical roll as well. Phys damage accuracy. And this thing has carried me this far already. The main thing I've been waiting on is being able to remove the adds 3 to 7 fire damage. And if I can do that, then I can craft flat physical damage. So right here, 18 to 24 to 36 to 42. Scaled through the 148% increase, plus 20% increase from the quality, would jack up the damage of this quite a bit in the end. So pretty much I'm waiting until I either get the ability to remove this with a harvest craft or find a better weapon altogether. It seems more likely that I'll find a better weapon because apparently the harvest crafts that can remove a specific modifier, in this case I want to remove a random fire modifier because it's the only one on this weapon. So I know for a fact that it would get removed. It seems like they made them extremely common in the early game and non-existent after you get to maps because apparently it's too OP to be able to do that, which, you know, it kind of is, but it's a League mechanic, right? It should be overpowered while it's in season, in my opinion at least, to some extent. What else was I going to say? I don't know. They seem to either make things extremely overpowered, only accessible at high levels, and extremely rare, or they like flipped it this time and made it extremely overpowered, very common, and only accessible during the levels where it doesn't matter. They both feel equally bad to me. Anyways, on a more positive / good note, I guess, is the linking. I've gotten, I think, 3 or 4 of the 5 link crafts so far. So this is a result of that as well. This chest, again, I got it drop as a 6 socket. Kept it around because I knew there were linking possibilities. I didn't want to farm for tabula, and I ended up getting this before that point anyways. Linked it up, and before linking it I was in the process of like trying to roll the harvest life modifiers on it, and this is what I ended up with. I keep forgetting to craft armor on it. Doesn't make a huge difference, but something I might as well do because it already has flat life and hybrid life and a couple of good resistances as well. Over 100 life once you factor in the strength. Again, I've had a couple 5 link things, so I've like 5 linked a 6 socket unique I had and a couple other chests. Helmet, pretty basic, just life. Everything else is at this point just stats, life, and resists for the most part, as we can see here. Gloves are absolutely terrible. Belt is pretty much the same way. Boots, I'm on like the verge of replacing. I need to get a cage map or whatever the equivalent is now for the last life craft here, bench craft here. So these boots are another product of Harvest, in which I had these boots as they are now, but with a life roll of like 23. So I waited until I was able to remove the life roll, and it's now where it's at now, and I can either craft, you know, this amount of life, or as I'm doing, just to save a tiny amount of currency, even though that's probably not really worth it at this point. Wait until I get another better craft, and then that'll be nearly as much life as these have, but a lot more movement speed and resist. Anyways, as for the melee rework itself, I'm personally liking it so far. However, I feel like for this build in particular, it's not as good as it could be, and part of that could be due to my playstyle. So I like using Call to Arms. I don't want to have to... I just like my war cries being instant, because, like, say... I don't want to really spec out of this, but take my word for it. The amount of time I would spend using a war cry if I didn't have Call to Arms would be like between half and 3/4 of the time it would take me to attack. So, you know, if you war cry twice or 3 times or 4 times, you could have attacked 2 or 3 times, you know? So why do I want to do that when the main point of the war cry is to increase damage or AoE? Both of those things, you know, you can get more coverage by attacking again, and you can get more damage by attacking again. So I don't really want to be able to use... I want them to be instant, even though it kind of sucks that I can't use Enduring Cry now. because Enduring Cry would be a very good defensive boon, especially once I pick up my last Ascendancy point, because if I had Endurance Charges, I would have a total of like 15% reduced physical damage taken. Which kind of leads me to my next point. I am strongly entertaining the idea of switching this over to a bow build because of several reasons. One, it's a lot more defensive, so it sounds very strange. Well, I guess not really, because we don't have a shield, but a bow build would be a lot more defensive. It'd be longer range. I'd be able to use Enduring Cry. So like I said, the 15 or so. How much do you get for now? Endurance charge. 4%. Never mind. 12% minimum physical damage reduction from the endurance charges, plus however much for the tiny bit that Enduring Cry itself gives you. 2%, but it only lasts 2 seconds instead of the 10 that endurance charges do. So yeah, anyways, 12% physical damage reduction from that, 10% from my Ascendancy. I would lose Fortify, but with Flesh and Stone, I'm taking 11% less from things outside of this circle, and when I'm carrying out ranging things, shooting them with a bow, they're mostly going to be outside that circle anyways. And then if I want to, I can still switch over and run up close to attack a boss, or keep this on if I want to generate challenger charges, and then switch back whenever I need to take a more defensive approach to things. And this is a little over half of what Fortify does anyways. Beyond that, the main reason to stay melee, I think, is one, for the novelty of it, which isn't worth much. I am enjoying it, which is why I haven't went for like a hard switch already, and I think I will like it a bit better once I get a stronger and also faster weapon, because my main I'll get to that in a second, but apart from that, I think one of the main reasons to go melee is the damage output. It's like Earthquake has fairly low but passable base damage, and then the Aftershock just gets insane. So if we go offense here, bleeding damage from hits, I'm averaging like somewhere high 7k, low 8k, and the Aftershock is 150% more on top of that, which is 2.5 times the damage, right? And including the Seismic Cry, if I'm better about using it and I take it off my left click and use it manually, is another 150% more damage on the final hit. And since bleed only cares about the biggest hit, that would just be 150% more bleed damage if I'm doing things correctly. I've also taken the reduced skill effect duration here and put quality on my restoration for a harvest through a harvest craft for just ease of life. It activates faster, kills things faster, and now I don't have to worry about attack speed at all, which is very nice on an Earthquake build. But yeah, so point being, long way to get to it, but melee, specifically Earthquake, huge chunks of damage, huge hits all at once, right? Well, I think what's going to happen is the damage is going to reach a point that I don't really need it to be higher, and I don't need it to be even as high as I'll have it, and damage is not the only thing that makes a build, so I'm probably going to end up wanting more utility and defense than damage. And looking on PoE.Ninja earlier, it seemed that most people that there are a lot of gladiators in solo self-found harvest right now, decent amount anyways, and a lot of them are using puncture split arrow, so they're a bow build, and a lot of them are using Earthquake. I'm seeing pretty consistently that the melee builds have less effective HP, or at least less raw HP. And of course they do have Fortify, which makes up a bit of the difference, but bow builds are getting, from what I see, 1 to 1.5k more life, which is kind of crazy once you think about it, and probably still passable enough damage to do all the content in the game. So I think it might be a rough transition, but I think knowing that going into it will help me. And if it does end up being just super terrible, then I'll roll my next build anyways, because by the time I transition, I'll probably be at that point anyways. Anyways, this has been a very long explanation of how things have been going and how I'm doing and what I want to do, how I've been enjoying it. And I like it so far. I like enough to make a video on it at least, so yeah. I would definitely recommend some type of melee build starting out, especially if you're going solo self-found and you haven't started the league yet. The war cries add quite a bit, not only like utility, damage, but also customization. Even like no matter what build you're doing, you've got choices in like the war cries you're using and whether you want them to be instant or switch between them, things like that. So all in all, great league so far, I would say. The launch went very smoothly. I didn't have any problems at launch, which is very rare. I don't know if it's ever happened actually. Once I got through the queue, I was good to go the rest of the night. So yeah, give it a shot if you haven't, and if you've enjoyed the video, let me know what you liked about it. If not, let me know what you didn't. I'll definitely be around with some more videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Peace.